Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Devin Smith, and I'm a Salesforce consultant at Solve.cloud. We help businesses of all sizes harness the power of Salesforce to improve their operations and drive success. Today, we're diving further into Salesforce Agentforce, specifically exploring a key question: just how fast can Agentforce process requests? If you're unfamiliar with Agentforce, it's Salesforce's AI-powered platform that allows you to create and deploy autonomous agents to automate tasks across various departments like sales, service, and marketing. These agents can handle everything from answering customer inquiries and scheduling meetings to generating reports and qualifying leads. As of February 2025, Salesforce doesn't explicitly state specific reasons that affect response times. However, due to the flexibility that Agentforce provides, we can pretty easily determine a number of factors that influence how quickly Agentforce can respond, both through our own testing and through understanding the underlying architecture of the tool. So I'm going to go through those now, and those include the complexity of the request. Simple requests are obviously going to be processed faster than complex ones. There's also agent customization. The more customized an agent, the longer it might take to respond, and I'll walk you through a quick demo and show you kind of how you can customize the agent to maybe be faster at responding versus, maybe potentially taking longer on certain requests. There's also data sources. Accessing data from multiple sources can obviously introduce delays. Usually Salesforce does a pretty good job, especially if you have Data Cloud, in mixing and matching data sources, but depending on how you have those set up, it could be going to different sources to query that data, which again could introduce further delay, but it does a fairly good job of optimizing that, especially if you're using Salesforce's pipeline and specifically Data Cloud. The other factor, these are more external factors, but it's network connectivity and server load. A stable connection and optimal server capacity obviously will provide the fastest speeds, but sometimes, there may be peak hours where there's not as much capacity on the server you're using, or potentially your internet service is, maybe taking a hit at that time, and that can obviously affect different processes there. And then lastly, the AI model that you're using really can affect the efficiency too. So make sure you have locked down at the start which one you want to use, whether that be one that Salesforce provides or potentially a more custom implementation. Finally, I just wanted to show quickly some of the customizations and how complex you can make your agent, which will then decrease or increase load times based on what you want to do. Usually you aren't going to want one agent that can do everything. You're going to want multiple agents to delve into specific actions and services. So specifically, this is my Agentforce service agent. So it's designed to work on cases and get case information and perform some actions surrounding cases. It's still pretty bare bones, but it'll show you, what's possible. So this agent builder is super nice because it will show you all the actions that the agent takes, and it's a good way to troubleshoot. If you think it's taking too long, you're able to come here and test it and see exactly what it's doing. So I'm just going to ask it, can you help me with my case today? So it's going to analyze the request. You can see how long that takes here in this test environment. That figures out the next steps, and then it chooses a response or an action based on what I said. So it's wanting me to respond, so I'm going to just give them this sample email, and that way it's going to be able to look up my contact and find the cases associated with it. Sweet. So yeah, give me the case about my high capacity battery. You can see I'm just having a conversation with it, and then after each instance, what it does is it analyzes the request, it figures out the next steps, and then it responds or takes an action. So you can see here, as soon as it selects an action, and then after that too, it reasons and will respond. Yes, close the case. After I ask it to close the case, again, it's going to analyze. Sorry, I've closed this in the past, so it's already closed. If it wasn't closed, though, it would have closed it for me. And a lot of those actions are actually running via Flow in the background. It's just an easier interface and way for your agents and reps to interface with Salesforce. Makes it a lot faster. And then these are the topics. So this is where you can get a little bit complex. The more topics you have, the more things it's going to have to reason with, and the more steps it's going to have to walk through. You can see here each one of these topics also has instructions, right? So if you get too complex, that's where you're going to introduce increased loading times and responses. But usually it's pretty quick, as you can see. And then again, each one of the topics has instructions as well as actions. And the instructions help guide the agent on where to go and what actions to take and what responses to respond with. And then again, you can introduce different knowledge libraries, which you would have to potentially search through. You can have different languages. You get the event logs and everything. And then here's the connections for data sources. So again, depending on you and your use case, it's going to respond faster or slower. If you need it to be super complex, you can expect increased loading times. But again, you can have multiple agents to perform different functions. And that's really where you're going to make sure that the speed of Agentforce is maintained and you get things that are efficiently running and performing the actions you need them to, as you need them to. And then again, also, as I mentioned, a lot of these actions are flows, but the actions can take different routes and you can have different automation behind them. And so again, that will also affect things if you have a very complex action that it has to take. Salesforce is still doing that in the background. So again, just keep that in mind. Thanks for sticking with me as I answered the question about how fast Agentforce can process requests. Feel free to check out my colleague Ben Schneider's video about how Agentforce integrates with Data Cloud if you're interested further in that topic. And also feel free to visit our website at solve.cloud, and a subscribe and a like really goes a long way in helping others find our videos. So thank you so much.